A few months ago, I picked up the standard PS5 Slim Digital Edition, and what do you know, the PS5 Pro release date was announced and it fell right into my return window, so back it went, and instead of adding an SSD and other accessories that would have totaled up to about the same price as the Pro, I swapped and upgraded and decided I was going to put together the ultimate all Sony PS5 Pro gaming setup to take advantage of the bonuses you get when all components are the same brand. Now let's talk about my bedroom gaming setup and why you might want to consider doing the same. Now, if after watching this video you decide you want to buy any of these products and show the channel some support, consider using the links in the description and top comment so I can afford to make more content like this. Now, unless you've been living under a rock the last few months, you'll know the PS5 Pro is the way to go if you want the absolute best PlayStation 5 experience. It's got double the storage with a 2TB SSD, Wi-Fi 7, and once a game is optimized, more consistent frame rates and PlayStation Super Spectral Resolution, which gets super sharp image clarity and enhanced resolution using AI, especially when paired with a modern 4K OLED TV. There's a ton of YouTube videos out already showcasing the differences, and while some games may see more improvement than others, I can say without a doubt every game I've played so far has looked amazing, and unless you're going to spend around $2,000 or more to build a PC, when it comes to consoles, this may be the best experience, especially when you factor in those PlayStation exclusives, which is the main reason I went PS5 over Xbox. And while it wasn't part of the plan, I went ahead and picked up the PSVR 2 headset, which has dual OLED displays, and while I haven't personally tested the MetaQuest 3 or 3S, reviews all over mention the OLED superiority in terms of visual performance. All you need to be convinced is to fire up Horizon Call of the Mountain and watch the intro sequence. If it's your first time with a VR headset, you'll be blown away when that tall neck walks over you. I really want to get through my backlog so I can try out Behemoth, which looks like a mix of Skyrim and Shadow of the Colossus, but let's be real, that backlog may never get caught up. While there's some debate over the differences in frame rates and whether the PS5 Pro is worth the investment, what can't be denied is that hooked up to the right TV, it looks fantastic, and that brings us to my TV of choice, the Sony BRAVIA 8 4K HDR OLED Google TV. This is the 2024 model, and because I'm using this as a bedroom TV, I went with the 55-inch version, which normally retails at $1,999, but has a sale price at the time of this video of $1,499. Because it is a Google Smart TV, you get access to all your streaming apps built in, as well as Google TV Free Play, which has a pretty decent amount of live channels to choose from if you've cut the cord from local cable. I've always used Samsung TVs in the past, which have HDR10, so I'm still a newbie with Sony TVs, but one non-Samsung feature I really like is Dolby Vision. Now, I haven't done a side-by-side comparison, but to my eyes, Dolby Vision looks every bit as good as HDR10, maybe just a little bit better, and if there are any real differences, it's likely to be from the actual display. But what I can say without a doubt is Dolby Vision content looks great. If you're coming from HDR10, you won't feel like you're missing anything, it just might feel like an upgrade. You also get access to the Sony Pictures Core app, which can only be found on PlayStation consoles and BRAVIA TVs, which gets you access to the largest IMAX Enhanced collection out there. What makes the Pictures Core app stand out is Pure Stream, which can stream movies at up to 80 megabits per second, which is similar to a 4K disc versus the average 15 to 25 megabits per second of other streaming platforms. This is straight from marketing, but with the BRAVIA 8, you get a variety of Sony technologies, including XR Triluminos Pro, which provides billions of accurate colors, XR Processor, which enhances every scene in real time, boosting color, contrast, and clarity, XR Clear Image, which upscales HD content, and XR OLED Motion for a blur-free experience with fast-moving sports and action scenes. Now, that's a lot of XR labeled features, but what it boils down to is you're getting a high-quality OLED TV with a picture that looks so good you'll barely need to calibrate. I spent considerable time with my Samsung getting those settings dialed in, but with the BRAVIA 8, it's almost as easy as plug and play. You can download the BRAVIA Connect app to control the TV from your phone, though I find the remote is pretty intuitive and haven't needed to do so. It's also AirPlay 2 compatible and has Chromecast built in, and if you don't plan to buy a soundbar or home theater system, has what Sony calls acoustic surface audio, which disperses audio from the entire screen. There are specific features that make pairing it up with a PS5 Pro or Sony soundbar worth considering. We'll start off with something so basic but something I don't really see on competing TVs, and that's the adjustable legs that hold up the TV. You can place them in different positions closer to the center or outer edge and different heights, so you can place a soundbar in front of the TV without blocking the bottom of the screen. It only makes sense that it would fit a Sony soundbar just perfect, and while I chose to use these rubber Pro Jack stands to decouple my soundbar, you can have it rest directly on the legs that stick out in front. Gaming performance-wise, it does of course come with HDMI 2.1 connections, so it's compatible with 4K 120Hz, as well as variable refresh rate and auto low latency mode. Now, most modern TVs come with HDMI 2.1, but what you won't find with another brand are PlayStation-specific features like auto HDR tone mapping, which optimizes HDR settings so you see more detail and better color accuracy, and auto genre picture mode, which automatically turns game mode on when your PS5 is detected. That brings us to the third and final piece of this all Sony trifecta, the Sony Theater Bar 9 Dolby Atmos soundbar, which sits nice and pretty at the top of the Sony soundbar range, and while it has a normal price of $13.99, has a current sale price of $10.99. It's got 13 speakers built in, which help it create phantom speakers using 360 spatial sound mapping, so it feels like the sound is all around you, and supports Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, and is IMAX enhanced. Now, you get all the features you'd expect from a soundbar at this price, including 4K HDR, Dolby Vision compatibility, and of course, since this is a gaming setup, HDMI 2.1, which means 4K 120Hz, variable refresh rate, and auto low latency mode. I paired it up with the SA-SW5 subwoofer, which has a 7-inch driver, passive radiator, and an omnidirectional block design, and does a pretty decent job delivering bass, and a set of SAR-S5 rear speakers, which are Dolby Atmos enabled with up-firing speakers built in, and are rechargeable with an up to 10-hour lifespan if you prefer a wire-free look. With spatial sound mapping, those rear speakers add even more phantom speakers, making it seem like you're surrounded by up to 11 different channels. Now, I'm very picky when it comes to surround sound, and to my ears, the whole setup does a really nice job. You can also use the BRAVIA Connect app to control it, but you won't need to, since the BRAVIA 8 TV remote can control both devices. It's a nice bonus seeing everything on screen. Should you use the soundbar's HDMI input for your PS5, it's also compatible with auto HDR tone mapping and auto genre picture mode, but probably the most useful feature having an all Sony setup gives you is acoustic center sync, which uses the BRAVIA 8's built-in TV speakers in conjunction with the Theater Bar 9, so when you calibrate, it gives you an even wider audio field than the soundbar alone. This has helped tremendously in my case since I sit kind of high on my bed, and helped raise the sound field to match my ear level. For the time being, I'm keeping this setup in our master bedroom, and I think when space is limited and you can't set up a full receiver and speaker system, the Theater Bar 9 is a solid choice to retain quality surround sound. Paired with the vivid image the BRAVIA 8 produces and those PS5 Pro specific features, your gaming optimization will be maxed out. All that's left is your skill level to see how many times you die should Elden Ring release another DLC. That's the rundown on my all Sony PS5 Pro setup. If you're buying from scratch and you know you want an OLED TV and a soundbar, it just makes sense to go this route and keep it all one brand, so no matter how small those little bonuses may be, you're getting every bit of optimization possible. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for the engagement. Let me know what you'd like to see on this channel, and consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell, as I've got some big changes coming your way. That's going to wrap things up for today. I'll see you next time.